The intention behind this one was looking at the energy of Scorpio, the Scorpio month, and there's a Scorpio New Moon. And I've mentioned in a previous poem that there's a lot of Scorpio energy in my family. So the colours here are like red, white and green with a little bit of black sort of highlight, which I think represents the underworld influence of Scorpio. The red likely represents the energy of Antares, which is known as the rival of Mars. Not sure about the associations with green and white yet, but I'm sure I will. Interestingly, some sources online talk about there being originally one constellation of Virgo, Libra and Scorpio as one, and this idea of it being associated with an eagle. I think there's also a reference to it being associated with this idea of a phoenix, which makes sense with rebirth from the underworld. So what I see in the main image, which is mostly on the right-hand side of the picture, is what looks to me like a face or a mask face, something that someone would wear in war. So that makes sense, the connection with like this Antares star. Then on the right-hand side is what looks like a bird head, within which also looks to me like a duckbill. So that makes me think of a duck-billed platypus, like this hybrid creature that you wouldn't expect to actually exist. But beneath that, it's almost like teeth that you can actually see the face of like a really angry dog. To the left of that, near the bottom, is what looks like another bird head with perhaps what looks like water underneath. And then above that is what looks to me like a bit like the heads of some snakes. You can kind of just see a bit closer there that it's sort of like the bird head with what looks like like an open dog mouth, like with teeth there on the right hand side. But to the left of the snake heads are these two figures. The one on the furthest left looks like the traditional depiction of like Satan, the devil to me. But I mean, this other one does a bit too, but it's sort of like, but it's got wings and almost a bit like shoulder pads. And then almost what looks like a waterfall between the two of them. I don't think the figures are demonic in any way just because they're red. I think that's probably something more alchemical. There's just a closer image of that lower bird and with what looks like to me like several, well, I thought it was three, but there's several snake heads in there. So transformation, I guess. And then further on the left-hand side is more like spectral energy. So there are sort of like what looks like people or ghosty images sort of in that energy, but nothing too specific is formed. Thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe. And it just occurred to me the duck-billed platypus is venomous. It's something that looks cute but is dangerous.